Okay, I'm on the line with Najma and Anthony Hilder here, and we're going to be talking about targeted individuals and getting the story from Najma. Najma and I are both targeted individuals. Najma, let me ask you, what's your age approximately?
I'm 56.
56. And were
Yeah.
you ever diagnosed when you were 20, 30, or 40 as being schizophrenic or having
No.
a psychotic disorder?
No.
No, never. Okay. And where are you right now?
I'm at a psychiatric facility called Crestwood Behavioral Health in Angling, California.
And they've got you on a medication, right? Is that,
Yes.
what is it? Which one is it?
Pardon?
You remember the name of the medication?
Yes. They was first came in here and they said I was schizophrenic.
Yeah.
And then I had an interview with the psychiatrist and board of directors, and they changed it to delusional after I gave a presentation on targeted individuals, including showing them the two books I had, one by Dr. John Hall called Satellite Terrorism, A New Breed. The other book I showed them was Dr. Robert Duncan's book, Soul Catcher, Secrets of Cybernetics and Cybernetic Warfare Revealed. I also had a packet with several articles from Derek Robinson's group, Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance. I showed them articles on gang stalking, bioelectromagnetic weapons, an article from the International Committee Against Covert Abusive Technologies. At the end of this presentation, the diagnosis was changed from schizophrenic to delusional.
Okay. Well, that's a big change. Now, you were also in Marin General Hospital, right?
Yes.
And you're on Abilify now, is that right? That's maybe the
Yes, and because it was changed from people are walking around, schizophrenic to delusional, they reduced it from 30 milligrams to 20.
And you were actually on, what was the one which one in Marin General? It was,
The same, which is prescribed for schizophrenia or bipolar.
But you were never diagnosed with schizophrenia when you were young?
No.
No, and you're still young,
No.
of course.
No.
You know what I mean. What education have you had?
I have a degree, Bachelor's of Science in Cultural Anthropology, which included 2 years studying abroad at the University of Göttingen in West Germany, or what was the Bundesrepublik, or West Germany at the time, before the wall came down. So I was there as an exchange student, and I was accepted to do my master's at the New School for Social Research in New York City, but I declined on the offer.
Okay. Now, when did you start having problems? I believe it was when you went to Syria, right?
Yes. When I came back from Syria, for one thing, I came back from Syria and customs sent a box of pornography from Vietnam, which was not part of my mail. That was sent to my house to discredit me, make me look a certain way in front of my family. I consequently, after that, had problems at a lot of jobs where there would be cliques who would somehow invent a story why this didn't happen all the time, but it happened immediately after I came back from Syria. I graduated from Santa Barbara and picked up some waitress jobs there, and I was literally followed from one restaurant to another after losing my job at one. The same two women who worked at the other one followed me to the next restaurant and saw to it that I lost my job there too.
Yeah, that's gang stalking.
Yes, and I wasn't aware of it at the time, what was going on. I just thought it was ironic or a strange synchronicity. but now I have more awareness of how gang stalking works. And so, anyways, I've been politically active since 1980. I was politicized in Europe when I lived in Europe. A lot of my friends were exiles from all over the world. It wasn't safe for them to live in their countries. And so they were studying at the same university as I was in Germany. And one of those friends went back to Syria. And he was very politically involved in left-wing politics and in support of the human rights of the Palestinian people. He was also part of the Pan-African National Movement. ANC, African National Congress. He was very politically involved. And I was with him, and I was being watched in Europe as an exchange student. I'm getting traffic around here, people. In any case, we are watched when we're exchange students abroad. Then I went to Syria at a time when Americans weren't allowed to get into the country. And the only reason I was allowed in was because my friend had connections with the government. So I was put on a list going back to 1979. And when I came back to the States, I finished up my degree, and I was politically active on campus. I was writing letters to the Daily Nexus, which was the student university paper. I was writing letters on behalf of the Nicaraguan people, the El Salvadoran people who were caught up in democratic reform movements in their countries. I wrote articles about the human rights of third world people. And I was also a member of the Committee in Solidarity with the People of El Salvador, CISPAS, which was infiltrated at the time by COINTELPRO. So I've been on lists for a long time. My phone's been tapped, going back into the early 80s. I left the country, went to Mexico, and lived there for a year as an artist studying astrology. I had a Mexican boyfriend who became a prominent artist in Mexico. We spent a year together in Tepoztlan, and I studied Spanish and astrology, became bilingual. I came back to the States. Came back to Northern California, where I took a break from politics, but I did write a couple of letters that ended up in newspapers. One was the Coastal Post, a newspaper that was printed in West Marin, Bolinas, and they were driven out of business because of some of their articles that they carried that were in favor or in defense of human rights in the Middle East, without taking a side, but just in defense of the Palestinian people's rights. Let's see. So what I'm trying to say here is I've been a political activist for the last 30 years, which culminated in me moving to Sonoma County and working with Deborah Taveras and Lou Taveras on some very pertinent environmental issues of our times. I was active in that, attending city halls, leafleting, protesting at the Bohemian Grove. Let's just say I've been very active politically on human rights and environmental issues going back to the 80s. And I believe that is how I've attracted attention to myself. I have a brother who's in the military who was in the Air Force during the Gulf War. He flew those I believe they were the F-15s, the ones that would hit the tanks. It was while he was doing that, I was protesting the war in San Francisco and getting arrested. So I've been on their radar for quite some time, and I'm not sure who exactly my perpetrators are, but I know they're connected to power, and that they're most likely on the far right wing of politics in this country.
Now you were experiencing the microwave auditory effect, the voice to skull, sounds in your head, voices in your head,
Big time, Ed.
and that's what lights up the psychiatrists when they hear that. They
That's what happened
reflexively
this
say,
year again from March through September. It was intense. I also had the active denial system used on me, ADS, which is the patented Air Force technology that is also known as no-touch torture. It inflicts pain using electromagnetic frequencies. Often they hit the brain and cause the pain to be experienced in different parts of the body. They can also use microwave energy on different body parts to inflict pain, and I had that intermittent with the voice-to-skull technology. The V2K technology is a Navy patented invention of technology that is basically radio waves that bypass the inner ear and hit the brain and is experienced by a targeted individual as radio voiced messages that nobody else can hear. And if you report about it, if you describe the experience, people who are 50 years behind the technology, or 50 years behind the knowledge of the existence of technology like this, you are labeled as schizophrenic. And it is very difficult to convey the existence of this technology without using books and articles, which is why I always walk around carrying my articles and books. And even when I present this to people, as I did yesterday at a board meeting, it is difficult to get the authorities in mental health and other departments of our society to concede that this is going on, or that it is even a possibility.
right. The fact that the brain is an electrochemical organ and has no firewall is not sort of something people think about. And the fact that the supercomputers and advanced radar technology can essentially capture the entire EEG is not something that they teach us in school. Now,
that's true.
The story of how you got into where you are right now is alarming. Your encounter with the police and the social worker. Could you recount this for us, please?
I can, and this, I believe, is part of a very intensified gang stalking network that has infiltrated our institutions, including our legal institutions, mental institutions, and police departments. And which means to me, which spells out to me, homegrown fascism is here. What happened to me is, okay, I was in Clear Lake, where I was staying temporarily in a motel where I was voice to skull for the 6 months intensely and being tortured. It seemed to subside, and I found myself in a coffee shop at 11 in the morning. I was sitting at a table with someone who claimed to be a deacon of the church in the neighborhood. We were just sitting there discussing spirituality when a couple of policemen in uniform came into the coffee shop, came to where I was sitting, and said they wanted me to come outside with them. They wanted to speak to me. And I said, oh, really? Well, okay, I'm willing to speak with you. Why don't you just have a sit down here with us, and whatever you need to say, I'm willing to hear it, and I don't have a problem if other people hear it. Well, they said no, they didn't want that. I should have to get up immediately and go out with them. And I said, no, I would prefer that we have our meeting here. What do you have to say to me? Well, they became a little bit more aggressive after that and barked at me, get with the order. I stood up, and as I was walking out, they grabbed my bag of books with the articles on targeted individuals. Both my books by Dr. John Hall and Dr. Robert Duncan were in that bag. The police who grabbed that with all the articles on targeted individuals ran around the corner with it out of viewpoint after we left the cafe. And then next thing I knew, I was being handcuffed without being told why, without anyone giving me an explanation as to why this was happening. No one, it wasn't explained that somebody called or complained, nothing. I said, where did my bag go? If someone's going to search my bag, which was an infringement of my Fourth Amendment, freedom from unreasonable search and seizure of person and property, right? Yes. So they did that, and out of viewpoint, searched my bag, out of my range of viewpoint, searched my bag. Meanwhile, I was getting marched to the police car with handcuffs on. When I got to the car, they shoved me in the back seat. I hit my head on the doorway on the way in. Then after I was in there with handcuffs, they took tape and taped my legs from the knees down to the ankles in a weird kind of like synthetic plastic tape binding. It was very painful. And then they slammed the door shut. It was a hot day, and there was no windows down. I couldn't breathe. I began to cry out for my inhaler because I'm asthmatic and I was losing air. At first they ignored me and acted like I was a nuisance and had no right to call out to them. Finally, I got their attention before I had an asthma attack, and it was probably a combination of panic because of the way I was being treated and asthma. They let me have my inhaler, which was in that bag with my books. And then I was driven to the emergency room of a hospital, where I lay for several hours, having blood drawn and allowed to rest there. And then in the evening, I was taken by ambulance from Lake County to Napa County and taken to on a 5150, taken to a state, no, actually it's a private hospital. It's St. Helena. It used to be private. It may have gone franchise. I'm not sure what their title is now. Legal, for tax purposes, brackets that they put themselves in. It's anyway, St. Helena, and I was there for 2 weeks, and then brought over here, a place I've never been before. That other place they took me to last year after similar episodes with V2K for several months. And I want to say this, when I have V2K, I am very wise. I don't talk about it to other people. The only time I talk about it is when I end up in these places, and for some reason they have this label they want to give to me before they even hear my story. And I had constant gang stalking this summer. In those 6 months of intensified V2K, I had gang stalking. And I was put up in a motel room between my family and social services in Lake County. They had me in a motel room while my SSI application process was in progress. I was told that I should stay there, and then after I get SSI, the county would help me find reasonable low-income housing. This is what happens to a lot of targeted individuals. We are financially destroyed and are put in these positions where we have, in order to survive, we have to accept humiliation, labels, and treatment from our family and the counties that we live in. And in order just to get something like SSI, which is what was happening to me, I had lost my work and a place to be. So I went along with it, and I wasn't taking any meds this year at all. I was just getting help as someone who had PTSD and chronic fatigue, and applying for SSI with that. gang stalking network, somebody lied apparently and said that I had been screaming and banging on the walls and yelling at other guests. Now that was a lie that was told by the hotel manager. Now what I think happened is one of the gang stalkers said that to him about me, complained about me, which is a lie, in order to have this network accomplish its ability to have me set up as some kind of a problem in the community.
Najma, what town were you in when the police picked you up?
I was in Clear Lake.
What
in
time
Lake
of
County.
day? What time of day was that?
11 a.m. in the morning.
11 a.m.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was talking to a gentleman who claimed he was a deacon of the church. And so I was just talking to him about my Catholic background and that I was no longer Catholic, that I considered myself a spiritual person. And just, having conversation about our respective spiritual beliefs. And in come the police and brutally forced me out of the booth, handcuffed me, throw me in the back of a car, tie my legs together, refused me my inhaler at first. All this went down.
Did you have any legal representation during any of this?
No. No.
Did they offer?
I didn't even, there wasn't even an explanation offered. The only thing I can think of is this was either the work of a gang stalking network that has power in many places, or the police mistook me for someone else and they were looking for drugs or something in my bag. That's also a possibility.
But you weren't taken to a police station. You were taken to a psych hospital or St. Helena.
And they didn't even ask for my ID. It's like they already knew who I was when I came in, everything. So I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand. Or there was an anonymous complaint from somebody that was part of the gang stalking network, and I was pointed out without me knowing this was going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
It's very strange, yeah.
It's very strange, and I never, and then, after all this, and not being on any kind of meds at all this year, and I say, okay, I've been hit 4 or 5 big times with the targeting as a targeted individual, where I had V2K and ADS and gang stalking. I've had 4 or 5 big hits of it. And I can't think, 3 or 4 times I've ended up in with the authorities.
So there's such a thing I've heard of. It is no-touch rape, a sexual thing that's done with this remotely. Has that happened to you?
Yes. Well, how do you say this? Violating boundaries. Wouldn't call it full-blown out rape, but there was assault of the genitals. Yes.
And this was done remotely, right? There was nothing, nobody.
Yes, but to talk like you said, most people don't understand how that can be done. And I'm uncomfortable talking about that here because people are in ear range, and I have enough problems.
I understand,
I'd like
but
to
we
change
need
the
to
subject, please.
get it out there. Well, okay. Well, I think.
Is there another person listening to this?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, this is, right now, I'm told I could be in here up to a month. And I find it very difficult. I can't say too much right now about the situation because people can hear. But this is not my milieu, and a lot of these people are very seriously unwell.
Yeah.
And it's obvious I don't belong here. So, and, oh, God. I have to be careful what I say. Because the people are here, I don't want to, hearts are delicate, you know what I'm saying.
Well,
Hello?
okay, I think that we probably, is anything more you want to tell us right now? We're going to try and come up and see you. Now I've got somebody to drive with me.
Yeah.
Okay, Najma, thank you very much for talking to us. And we'll be in contact soon.
What's the name of the facility
What's so
again?
scary
Crestwood.
is I never knew what, I didn't do anything to warrant any police action,
Yeah.
one. And two, I could be shuffled around to 3 different hospitals without explanations and end up here and told that I'm in a lockdown facility.
Yeah.
And that I can't get out unless the court decides that I have a place to go to and that I can take care of myself with food and shelter. So I may need a friend. My family is going along with this because they refuse to believe in targeted individuals. That's another problem I have. I have tried to educate my family members on this, and I haven't really lived close with my family members. I've been an adult living separately, and they are all very, let's see, materialistic, security-minded. They don't understand why I don't have my life together more. They're assuming it is within the criteria used to judge someone as mentally ill, that I don't have it together financially or with a job or a home, and that I end up in these situations. And because they don't see up close and they don't believe in this technology I have tried to educate them about. I've given them the packets that I gave you, Ed. I've given them one brother DVDs. I've shown them the books. No interest in pursuing the research, even on behalf of a family member. So this is what I'm dealing with. And I have now been put under conservatorship and told that it's up to the doctor here and the county services in Lake County to decide if I get released from here. So I'd be very happy if to have a backup if social services isn't going to support me anymore in my look for a studio or home in Lake County. Might be the only way I can get out of here is if I can say I have a job or friends who would help me land somewhere after this. Otherwise, people could end up here indefinitely. And I'm hoping that social services in Lake County will pick up where we were before with the application process. But I don't know if they were part of this or not, if they were contacted by a network or not. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so the day before this happened in the coffee shop, I was looking at studios, nice studios, with my social workers because I was told that the money had just come through for SSI. So, and now the SSI is going towards this. So, anyways, I hope you'll stay in touch, and
We will.
And I would love it if you came here and saw for yourself where targeted individuals end up.
Okay, Najma, thank you very much.
Yes, okay. Well, all the best to all of you on the other end of the lines there, and thank you for hearing my story.
Well, we'll continue this then in the future, the near future. Thank you.
Okay, and I appreciate if you call and just check in on me at least once a week.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
Okay. And I hope you're doing okay too. And I know you're targeted also, and I send you my prayers.
Thank you. Thank you.
Positive visualizations.
Okay, I'm holding up.
Okay.
Take
Okay.
care.
All
Bye-bye.
right.